All right, everybody. So we're actually live now. We got a very special guest here, uh, um, cousin Crypto. You probably seen him. You've seen him maybe on TikTok. You've seen him on X. He's an ambitious trader. He's deep in the trenches. He's talking a lot. He's a special guest here on our podcast. Hey, man. So you're from South Africa, right? Or Australia?
Yeah, so originally South Africa, and I left maybe I've been a little bit all over the world, but I went to the US, did school there for a bit. Wasn't really my cup of tea, and then that COVID kind of hit, so I worked out real quick. It's like you're either a content consumer or creator, and I was like, fuck it, I got nothing to lose. I was just drinking at home, painting like a beer dye table. It's like I don't know if know beer dye, but it's like a big frat bro game in the US, like a drinking game. So you make your own custom tables and stuff. Started doing that, and I was just like pounding like a 6-pack, 12-pack every day while I did that, because it's like you literally had nothing to do. You couldn't leave the crib, couldn't do anything. And like a lot of people in the same boat. And so I was just like, again, like I was saying earlier, it's like, drinking and everything, it's fun. But like for me, I like routine and stuff. So it's like after a week or two, it gets a bit boring. So yeah, then just decided to make some content and stuff. And now I'm out here in Dubai because it's obviously, for me, it's like the crypto hub of the world. You could argue like Singapore and stuff, but it's like, for me personally, it's like I don't think I would thrive in Singapore like the same way you can here. So yeah, out here for mostly those reasons, good connects. Obviously, you got the tax benefits, all that stuff. And I mean, man, even just after being in Europe for summer, it's like, after a few weeks, you start missing like the glorious things of Dubai, like the constant safety, the convenience, all that kind of stuff. And people can say whatever they want about Dubai, but they've got their shit together.
What do here in the United States, you have jobs maybe slowing down, and the Fed's talking about, maybe, doing some cuts. Do you think if they do rate cuts, that's going to save the economy? Do you think that's going to help, boost a crypto rally, the next crypto rally?
I mean, bro, like if you go back and you look, every time the Feds cut rates significantly, like we've run hard. And this is going to be like the first time in history they're going to be doing, because I think rate cuts are coming, any minute now. This is the first time they're going to be doing rate cuts with Bitcoin sitting at 110K. Like, that's pretty crazy to think about. Like, every time they've done it, we've rallied multiple X's and stuff. So, I think rate cuts with Bitcoin at 110K, I think things can get real silly real fast. And like, that's the thing too, is like, for me, this is like the perfect setup. Like, everyone's lost their capital, everyone's sidelined. I've never seen Twitter like this low, like this many people out of the market and just basically don't give a shit. Again, don't really blame them. But for me, that kind of sets up the perfect storm for, okay, shit's just going to run. And it's like, you look at BlackRock and stuff, they still bidding. I think I saw today like 150 mil worth of ETH and stuff. So it's like, you don't really like need to look that far ahead. You kind of just like, you could tail the richest people on the planet, and it's like, you'll probably cook with them. It's like they're the richest people on the planet for a reason. So I think rate cuts will be super sick. I don't know what it'll do for most of the market, but like I think like majors and stuff, ETH, Sol, BTC, I think it'll cook.
Okay. And now, like, you ever trade, by the way, in China? Do you ever trade in Asia? Just curious.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a whole nother market, man. So our trading community, we focus on Chinese equities and also crypto. But I was just curious because you're already in Asia anyway. So let me ask you, man. So what do you think? Like China's making this digital yuan program. Have you heard of it?
I have.
Okay, so China's making this digital yuan program, for those of you who don't know. And do you think that puts the United States behind this global crypto race?
Bro, the thing is like, I think America will always be America at the end of the day. And it's like, again, people can shit on the US for whatever they want. But it's like, it's still number one. And I mean, it could put a bit of pressure, but like, to be honest, even for me, so like the main reason I don't trade in the Chinese markets or anything, I don't understand it. And I'm like well-versed enough to understand that, okay, don't try and do something you're not good at. If you got something good going, why would you try and switch it up, But I mean, yeah, it definitely makes things a bit interesting. And it's like, it's kind of been interesting with Trump, right? Because you got a dude that's like very pro crypto, but at the same time, he's launched 2 projects that have flatlined, gone to zero, with extracting, hundreds of millions. You obviously had Melania coin, which was like the worst of the worst. He's launched NFT projects and stuff. And like, I honestly, like, I used to be a big Trump guy, and like, obviously, I got to be a bit careful what I say, but like, I don't really fuck with anyone anymore, because it's like, a lot of stuff's like come out, and it's like I don't really love it, even just with like the Epstein files and stuff, like the hiding and stuff, and like, why are we still talking about this? I found that crazy personally. I'm like, what do you mean, why are we still talking about this? The dude had an island with children on it. You can't just sweep it under the rug kind of thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting, but also like at the same time, like China's very notorious. Like, they don't really fuck with crypto. It's constantly, every cycle they're banning it. They this, they that, and it's kind of impressive how they managed to like re-ban it every single time. Like, I remember we had a like 2017, 2018 cycle. Like they had their ban or whatever it was, and we nuked from like 7K to 3K, and then that was the bottom, and we ran. Like, notoriously, it's always been like a good buy, and stuff's rallied from there.
Yeah, I hear you. You think Trump and Xi Jinping, the leader of the Chinese Communist Party, will win the trade war, and how do you think that crypto? How do you think crypto plays out?
I mean, bro, like this whole trade war as well, like it's really like it's fucked me off as well, because it's like every time the market looks good, motherfuckers start talking about tariffs and shit again, and it just nukes it. And now I see again in the courts, they're trying to reverse it, and it's like, again, like I'm at a point in my life where like I don't really give a shit anymore. Like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, and that's all you can do. So it's like, kind of, we have no power, no control. There's nothing me and you can do about this, and it's kind of just something you got to let unfold, and then take it on its merit, take it what it is. And I feel like that's also with crypto this cycle. That's been a big thing, is being able to take the market for what it is, and not try and compare it to previous cycles. And that's why I feel like it's almost been like, it's been better to have no edge than having an edge this cycle was having no edge, because you don't have anything to compare it to. If you try to play this cycle like you did previous ones, all the dudes I know that cooked, apart from a select few, in like the previous cycles, like, not only have they not made money this cycle, but they've lost money. Their net worths have gone down, which is crazy, because we've been in a bull run. Like, Bitcoin's gone from 16, 15K bottom to like 120. But of course, too, no one, the majority of retail and stuff, they're not sitting all in on BTC. It's, chasing, including myself, chasing stuff that's got, a better potential in a sense. And it's the same thing every time. It's like, just shove into BTC and sit. It's the most like stress-free trade ever. And it's like, but even like now with gold, it continues to make like all-time high after all-time high.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still under the impression, it's like, bro, gold is like, it's not truly finite, like deposits are being found left and right. It wasn't so long ago China found a huge one. South America, $1 billion deposits. People say like, one of the reasons Musk wants to go, he's so big on space and stuff, they'll start, farming all of these meteorites, this and that. And, there'll be gold in there, all that kind of stuff. So for me, like, Bitcoin is the only truly like finite asset on the planet. And like, not only that, an estimated 4 or 6 million, whatever it is, Bitcoin's lost in circulation. So it's like, yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, long story short, I'm kind of now at a point where I'm just like, let's just see what happens, because I don't think anyone would have predicted what's currently happening today, even like 6 months ago, a year ago. Like, pre-Trump, it was like, okay, this dude, this is it. Like, we're so paid, we're so set. And it's like, not really. It hasn't really been like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you think with treasuries, the way they're like getting rid of all the gold, I don't know if you see the central banks, for example, how they've been getting rid of all the gold. You think so? To your point, do you think that Bitcoin, or is your point that maybe Bitcoin is the next global reserve asset?
Yeah, I mean, look, I love metals as well. Like, I'm big on silver. Like, I think gold is banging as well. I think gold right now, like, I think we're kind of going into like that blow of top phase. Like, I think it's going to absolutely cook. And I think, buying here is money, because I think we're kind of going to go, that exponential growth. And after that, of course, pull back, especially with all the uncertainty. People love, having something physical, something that's been traded since the beginning of time. But for me, like, Bitcoin is just, it's gold, but digital. Like, it's better. And, the entire world is going digital. We've been going digital. So it's like, for me, it's a bit of a better play. But again, we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah. So you think so like when you look at so what's getting you excited? Like what so like if you were a trader right now, you're getting in the market. What's like one that you're excited about that you're not involved in? That you think is a good buy and hold for let's say a week, 2 weeks, swing trade.
Within crypto,
Yeah. Or there's
I
none right
mean,
now.
yeah, honestly, like off the top of my head, like I can't really think of much because again, too, like we're still, we've seen periods where we have this easy mode where everything's kind of like up only for a little bit, but like they've been the shortest easy mode periods like of every other cycle. And it's like for now, it's just like it's just chop, chop, chop. So it's like for me, the where you're gonna see the best return, at least for now, is just being in stables. And when the time comes, you shove, you get in for a couple weeks, and then you're out of there. Like I still think ETH is gonna cook. I think especially like ETH and Sol with these treasury companies. But then again, you have the news, the NASDAQ's tightening up on that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting. But for me, yeah, like this is kind of like a new Ponzi form, in a sense, basically like, I mean, what Saylor's done has been incredible with Bitcoin, but it's like, it's a Ponzi in a sense, you know what I mean? Like you buy Bitcoin, shitload of it, so price goes up, your stock goes up because all you do is buy Bitcoin, and then you sell your stock, put it back into Bitcoin, and the cycle repeats. So it's like, for me, it's like kind of like a new type of Ponzi that's been introduced, and we typically see that happening like towards the end of the cycles. So it's like, and I don't think the end is here now. I still think the best is to come, like it is every single time. But I definitely think we're nearing that end portion of it.
And then do you see the US collapsing? You say you think that America's always around. I mean, do you think that so would you say that the US isn't collapsing actually and that it's just fear mongering?
I fully think it's fear mongering. Have you ever seen the Chud meme where it's like got a clock and it's like nothing ever happens? I'm a firm believer in that meme as well. Like whenever you see it and like, people are tweaking over stuff, it's like, well, like our parents were tweaking over, that all the internet's coming, it's over. Like this shit's crazy. Like their parents were tripping about something else. It's kind of like, it's just the world evolving. And it's like, again, for me, it's like, you can think, oh, America, maybe it's not as strong as it was. But at the end of the day, like, the reason they spend so much money on military budget and stuff, like they just can't go away. Like they're just so like leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else. Like there's still an extremely rich like economy. Like I don't ever see like America, at least like in my lifetime, like being knocked off that pedestal. Like it's number one and it's so far ahead of the race and everyone else is kind of just behind. And it's like, it is what it is. So again, too, like even when you saw, like a while ago, we had like Japan, like with their economic like problems with their stock market and stuff. It's like, okay, it wasn't great for the rest of the world. People were a little scared, but it wasn't the end of the world. Like if that happens to America, everyone is shitting bricks. If we have like a 2008 kind of thing, the entire world feels it. Then they feel it in the same way that, America will, versus like, it's not really the same if that happens with any other country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so like let's just say for example the BRIC nations they just keep pushing and pushing and to de-dollarize. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think Bitcoin is the neutral currency of choice then?
I mean, yeah, and again, like that's the thing. Everyone has access to Bitcoin, so it's banging. But again, like you look at like BRICS, like we've also like South Africa's in there and stuff. But it's like you basically, the best way I can describe it is like you take like shitty countries and you put them together. It's just a bigger pile of shit. It's like it's like they're not really doing much damage. Like this has now been around for like quite a bit, and it's like no one talks about it anymore. Or anything. It's not really like a threat like that. And I've seen like also too like a lot of stuff has fallen through with that as well. So it's like again like realistically, I don't see like I just can't see America getting like taken off that pedestal unless something crazy happens. And it's like every time you got like a new president too, like Republican or Democrat, like there's always fuck ups and stuff. But again, at the end of the day, like it's America, and for sure, like I have things that I criticize them over, but it's America. It's like it is what it is.
Yeah. So what's one event like in 2025 you would say you think is going to shock the global market?
I mean, to be honest, again, like I don't really know, and I don't even know if anything will really happen because for example, like people like Michael Burry and stuff who nailed 2008. he's been talking about the economy crashing for years now. And it's like, yeah, maybe eventually he's right, but maybe in like 10 years, like, and it's like, and then you can't really claim that clout because, for example, he's not going to be, holding shorts while, markets continue to make all-time high after all-time high. So it's like, and even that, I forget the exact amount, but if you go and like, you look at it, for example, like Michael Burry, like his fund, like they made like a few $100 million or whatever, versus now, if you had to look at the P&L of what Michael Saylor is up like on Bitcoin, it's billions. Like, and people don't really talk about that, like, whole movies were made and everything. And it was sick. Like it was a sick trade. But like in terms of today, like it's not just anywhere near on the same scale. So yeah, long story short, I don't know. I don't know what could happen. Like I'm tired of playing like the guessing games because it's just like, again, like no one, probably anticipated like these tariffs coming in like this, like some crazy shit where it's like he's basically gone to war with all these countries. And again, I think tariffs have been good, even though, listen, it's hurt me financially a little bit at times because obviously it's like playing tag with the market and the market's so volatile. But like if you're American, like I think it's sick. Like, you guys are basically just getting free money that you weren't getting before. Asserting a little bit of dominance. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens, like what Trump's got up his sleeve. But I definitely think like for America, I think it's definitely a better bet than Kamala Harris for sure.
What do you think is so if you only had $1,000 today, how would you split it across Bitcoin, altcoins, or stable coins?
Can't, bro. You fucked with $1,000. Honestly, like my answer to that is you got to get your bread up. I don't know if you know Julian Petroulis. He's like an Australian entrepreneur. He's probably the best stock trader I've ever come across. Like doesn't sell any education, nothing, and he cooks. Like so, I had him on my podcast that I had like 2 years ago, and I remember him telling me then he's like, yeah, I like Nvidia and Plantia the most. Of course, those were the two companies that have literally ended up outperforming everything else. But he said something pretty good on there. Like, if he had to go broke or something, how would he run it back? And he was basically talking about working like in the service industry, like, for example, like at a club and stuff, like where people tip crazy. Like, for example, like, you go, when I was just in Mykonos, it's kind of standard. You get slapped with like a 20%, like you have to pay this tip on the bill. And it's like, you're talking like tables, bottle service, like people are spending like 5-10K minimum. So if you can get a job like that, I feel like you can run your money up pretty quick. Like if you're smart with it too, you can make crazy connections. Like a guy out of the US, Zach Beard, he's an example of that, was working in the club Delilah, where Drake used to go, ended up becoming best friends. Like now he's this huge producer, connected to everyone on the planet, balling. But yeah, with $1,000, I mean, the sad reality is it's like, you're not going to do much. Like you got to have the touch of God to be able to turn $1,000 into something, like, especially in something like crypto, where it's like, it's a numbers game, right? Like you could get rugged 99 times and it just takes that one time to hit, but you got to have the capital to be able to, for that to happen. And, you need the experience of getting cooked so that you can, you know what to do next time. But like $1,000, bro, it's like every time someone hits me with that, I'm like, don't waste your time. Cause it's like, you're not just going to miraculously come into crypto with $1,000 and hit 100x. It's not happening.
So how are you managing in general? How do you manage your risk? When the market's going against you?
I'm a degenerate. That's what works with me. Like I'm very degenerate. Like I've been all in on crypto since I got in. And now obviously like, I've taken a lot out, but like in terms of like, I've gone out with my profits, like bought like property and stuff. And then the rest, like I'll leave in for sure, stables and stuff. But if I had to show my strategies to a financial advisor, I think they would shit bricks for sure. But that's something that like works for me. It might not work with other people. So it's like, for me, like I'm fully risk on. And I also look at it, like I'm 25, like I don't have a wife and kids and stuff. I've now got properties that if shit had to really hit the fan, it's enough to like, yeah, still wouldn't need a job or anything. So I'm like, why not maximum risk everything? And, because it's can always run it back. Like if you've got those skills, you can always run it back. I can always hop back on socials again. Like I don't really post on TikTok, Instagram, any of that anymore. Just because like I mainly started that to get my bread up. So when I got my bread up, I was like, okay, cool. And I feel like the content game's changed a lot. So I was like, you know what, I'll just take a bit of a backseat. Like I remember when I first saw you were doing the alpha male rules, and those were fucking hilarious to me. But like, there's not much of that anymore, bro. Like there's not like I don't really like watch a lot of content. I'm like, oh, this is sick. Like I don't have like people, it's kind of changed a bit. But yeah, for me, if you're young, you don't have a mortgage to pay off, you don't have a wife and kids, you don't have a family that depends on you, you should be max risking, especially with like the setup that we have. Yeah, the market's not great now, but the potential of, rate cuts and everything coming, like, the money prints being turned on, like the risk to reward is there to be max risking everything. And that doesn't mean slap your account in a leverage account, put it on 100x and just pray, strategically risking it, for me, that's the way to go. You should be max risking.
And then how, just like, how would you say, what do you think separates the pro traders and the amateurs, the beginners from what you see?
I feel like, especially in crypto, risk tolerance. Like I can watch, like I can straight up put money into an account, and I can watch that shit dip hard. And for example, like I see it with like friends and stuff, like I've told them not to, but they'll try and copy the same trades I do. Shit will start going negative, and they'll be messaging me panicking like the world's ending. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, what do you, it's down 5%. But to some people, that's crazy. So I think risk tolerance is a big one. Just experience in general as well. So it's like, although like I was saying, like, the markets are not the same. It's like, for me, I've been in crypto since like 2016, 2017. So it's like, that's like a third of my life. So it's like, if you do anything for a third of your life, you better be good at it or you should quit. Like no matter what that is, whether it's, sportsman, doctor, lawyer and stuff, like if you practice for that long, you're going to be cold with it. So for me, it's a lot of it's timing as well. Just like knowing when to shove, when not to. And it's like that again comes with experience. And just like, getting a good feeling for the market. So like even now what I was saying, everyone being sidelined, Twitter being unbelievably depressed, all that kind of stuff, like those are telltale signs that, the market's exhausted and it might take a little bit, but like we're looking to find a bottom soon and it could rip. For example, too, like everyone is, it's September, it's notoriously bad and, everyone is talking about it. Typically, that doesn't really happen. It's an overcrowded trade. Maybe it happens. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm mostly in spot now. And again, I can hold through. My shit can dip. I can watch my net worth dip 50%. I don't really care because especially in this stage of the market, like I don't see us topping in any way. Rate cuts are coming. You can't top and then have rate cuts. It just doesn't work. It's not a thing. So
it's interesting. You talk about, I guess, risk tolerance itself. Would you say like most traders never just build a smart system that is like, has enough, that's strong enough to tell them when, hey, look, that 5% dip is just, it's just nonsense going out, and they can separate that from when it's actually the start of something structural, like that there's something actually real.
Yeah, I mean, again, too, I think like that, like risk tolerance and experience goes hand in hand. So, like, I mean, honestly, like my strategy, like that I'll trade with, is just like it's trend lines, but it's in the right time. Like it's when shit breaks out. But again, you got to know that, okay, like this is like a good time because again, it could break a trend line, but you're in a bad market. It doesn't fucking matter. It'll probably nuke back down. So it's just simple shit like that for me, but timing it right. Like, so for example, now, like if coins have to start pumping and stuff. BTC starts putting in like higher highs and stuff while the market's like this breaking out, like that's for me, that's a bid. And for sure too, you also got to just be okay with losing. Like you got to be okay with losing money. And it's like, again, like I was saying at the beginning, like the shit is a numbers game. It's all just fully about numbers. So it's like you can get cooked 100 times and you just need a few of those to win. Like most of the best traders I know, like they got a profit of like, only like 40% of their trades will hit. 45%, but they're unbelievably profitable. Versus you could have people that don't know what they're doing. It could be the other way around, but the L's that they're taking are huge. The wins that they're taking are small.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, risk tolerance, I think it's honestly to this level, I think it's something that you could only build in crypto. Like you're not going to get the same risk tolerance in the market. Like you're not, like I've experienced the Luna crash, FTX, all of that kind of stuff. So it's like, I'm very unfazed. I'm very unfazed, and I think that's for sure one of the main differences.
Yeah, if most traders are just like panicking at a 5% dip, I would say, don't you think that's less about emotion and more about them like never actually having, let's say, defined rules for when to hold or for actually when to exit. So in other words, isn't it actually just a failure of process?
Yeah,
Not technology.
100%. And again, too,
100%.
like that's also like, not having that experience. It's like that, they don't know what to do. And so like they kind of lose their shit.
Yeah.
And it's gone. And it's, I mean, again, like this cycle also, it's just been so hard to trade. That like, not many people have cooked on leverage. For example, like James Wynn, who was up, hundreds of millions or whatever it was. And, I saw now he just got liquidated for 10K. And like that's, from opening $100 million trades to 10K in the span of a few months is kind of diabolical. So it's like, it's also too, like I was saying earlier, the reason I don't touch Asian markets or anything, I don't get it. And I'm fully okay with that. I'll do something that I'm good at. It's like people come into this thing with high expectations thinking it's easy and they're actually pretty shit at it and they continue. And it's like, you got to know when to step away and to just leave it. And it's just not for everyone.
So, hey man, I know we're running out. We started late here. My fault. Where could everyone find you, man? I see a lot of your content on X. I used to see you on TikTok, but now I think about it, it makes sense because I got kicked off that app in 2022, man. They didn't like me either, So,
but you didn't even post any crazy shit or anything, no?
Yeah, it's a long story, man. It's a long story. It's I'll tell you offline.
Yeah, they'd for sure boot you now with the stuff you'd be posting on X. That shit would be gone.
Yeah, man. But we do good business with TikTok, and we have customers and members in our community, and from Asia. Our co-founder Pablo Heeman, he's in Hong Kong. So where could everyone find you, man? Where could everyone find you?
Bro, for now, just X cousin crypto with a 0 at the end, and then if I do decide to get back on TikTok and stuff, they will see me. It will show up.
Nice, man. Well, thank you so much, man. I'm enjoying this. I enjoyed it, and hopefully we do another collab soon. And it's a little bit longer,
100%, bro. Let's rip it. Appreciate you having me.
All right, brother. Good talk.
Take care, bro. Cheers.
Cheers.